Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Pujan and today we're going to talk about different kind of wood markers in MWF. So as you can see, I have this wall panel here with me, and as you can see, it has a couple of openings in it, and we are going to see how you can use different wood opening markers to detail your wall framing correctly. So first thing first, I would be in the wall module in the MWF. So make sure you switch to the wall module since we are going to be working with the walls. Then I would navigate to Marker Manager, which we can find in the wall model tab. So I'm just going to click on this. And here, as you can see under openings, we would see different wood markers for our single opening and a couple of more wood markers for our multiple openings. Today we're going to talk about first thing first would be our wood opening marker, as you can see here. Once you click on this marker itself, as you can see, you have this preview available on your left as well. Usually all you can do is, in order to access the properties of this marker, you can just double click on this. But if you're going to make any changes to the default marker, I would always recommend to duplicate this marker. All you need to do is just click on duplicate and make it your own. We're gonna call it demo. You can click OK, and as you can see, you would have your own wood opening marker, which is going to be again a duplicate for the original one. For this, I'm just going to showcase a couple of features in the original one, but I would always, as I mentioned, I recommend to duplicate the markers. In order to access the properties, you can select this option at the bottom here. Again, you have a couple of more options at the bottom here, such as you can rename your wood marker, your opening marker, you can delete the marker, and you also have an option to import and export the marker. Once you access the properties, here what it looks like in this huge dialog box, as you can see on your screen. You would have a couple of options, as you can see here. Starting with headers, so in your panel, as you can see, you have the header options, and we also have this preview, which is active. So if you click on multiple options, as you can see, the highlighted area changes accordingly. So first you have your option for the headers. As you can see, you can increase the number of headers, as you can see here. We also have this feature called header paths, as you can see under highlighted. If you wish to enable, you can always go ahead and enable that. Alongside you have the header, which is going to be again the top side of the header. Again, if you wish, you can just enable through here. Then you have your sill options. Once you click on this, again, you would get this highlight on your preview. And again, we have this thing called sill pad as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and add one sill pad in order to showcase this feature. Then you would have your options for verticals. As you can see, I have my jacks and kings right next to each other, and I can increase and decrease the numbers using these two options. Okay. Then you have some couple of turn on and off features, such as same amount of verticals on left or right. Again, as I mentioned, if you disable this feature, then you would have two different options here for your jacks and kings. If you wish to have two jacks and two kings on the left side of the opening, but only one jack and one king on the right side of the opening, again, you can also do that, or you can just keep the same amount of on either side. So that's why this feature is there. Then you would have options for your extra cripples, top and bottom. Again, it's a turn on and off feature, so it really depends. Then you would have this option for your cripple spacing. As you can see, you would have a couple of options to choose from. You have consistent, you have equal, you have restart, and you have center. Consistent would basically just lay out the cripples on top or at the bottom of your opening. Equal would have again equal spacing. Restart would restart your cripples accordingly, and centered would place a cripple at the center and work its way out. So that's how you can choose multiple options under cripple spacing. You would have your tolerance settings if you need to have any tolerances next to your opening. You have these guys here for your top, bottom, left and right options. If you wish to again use the rough openings for your opening, you have this feature again. It's a turn on and off feature if you wish to use the rough parameters when it comes to opening. Then you would have your top and bottom nailer options. Again, it's a turn on and off feature. If you have any sub-assembly assigned, you can turn off and assign the sub-assembly through here. Here you would have all the individual members that we already talked about. And you can go ahead and basically change the family for your horizontals, for your headers, for your verticals, and for your pods. If you decide to choose any of those families, or if you just decide to choose a blank option, that would just basically read the families from your panel properties. So just to make sure, if you leave it as a blank, it will always read your settings in the panel properties. So I'm just going to go ahead and set them back to 2x6. You have your straps option here. Again, you would need to choose your strap family first thing first. Then you can actually start strap at either any desired length or at the panel length. You have your placement options. You can either place it at the both side of the panel, exterior side only, or the interior side only options. Same for your blocking. You can choose a different family for your blocking. Again, panel length strap would be any desired length or at the end of the panel. And you also have option to add connectors, as you can see here. And you can also determine if you wish to see the screws or not. You can determine your first offset alongside with the spacing for screws. And that basically concludes all of the settings that we will find under the generic wood opening markers. Once you're happy with the settings, I'm just going to turn off the opening straps. All you need to do is just basically click OK, and it would ask if you wish to update this marker. All you need to do is just say yes, click OK, and we're back to our panel. Again, as you can see, my panel is not framed yet. Excuse me. As you can see, my panel is still not framed yet. But before I frame my panel, I need to actually apply that marker that we just saved for this opening. In order to do that, all I need to do is just select this door opening, as you can see here. I would go back to my wall module. Under markers, I would find this option called apply opening type. And if I just read the description, it just says it applies the opening framing type to an opening. So I'm just going to click on this, and here basically we would find the framing type option. It's a drop down menu, and here you would find all the markers present in your project. We are going to assign this marker that we just said. It's called wood opening. We're just going to click on this, click OK, and now we can just go ahead and frame this. Here I'm going to choose the default wood template, set as active, and create. And click OK. And this is what your wood opening marker looks like. As you can see, I have double headers alongside with my header pad. I have my cripples, as you can see. So this is basically how you detail a marker, a wood opening marker to be specific. Moving on to our next option, or I should say next marker, would be our top of the opening marker. So we have two different kind of wood bearing beam markers. One basically places the header and the bearing beam on top of the panel itself, and the other one basically puts it on top of the opening. So let's just go ahead and see how the top of the opening marker works. I'm just going to double click on this to access the properties, and again we should see this dialog box that we've seen before. It's a little familiar. You would have your header alignment option, as you can see here. So you can align your header to the back, front, center, or space. You have different options to choose from. Then you have your number of headers, how many number of headers that you wish to put. You have your header source, and again, as I mentioned, you have headers. You have your pad settings, your sill and sill pads. You can increase the numbers using those features, and again, as you can see, we have the active preview to help you determine which feature are you working with. Now we have different options for your left side jacks and kings, so basically your left side verticals and right side verticals. So as you can see here, similar to what we've seen in the previous marker settings, you can also enable filler between studs, shim above header, nailer settings here, again as you can see. Something that we've seen before, your cripple spacing, again you have the same options to choose from, which are consistent, equal, restart, and center. And you have your tolerance settings alongside with your roof opening settings. Again, you would have your different members and their families to choose from. I'm just gonna go with the 2x6 for this one, and same for the jacks. And here, as you can see, you can use this the jack family for both sides of the opening. But if you wish to use different, you can actually determine on which family you want to use on right or left side of your opening. Okay, same settings for the kings, and you can also determine your family for the cripples. Again, you would have your strap and blocking settings, something that we've seen before, and you also have vertical offset for your headers and sills, as you can see here. Once you're happy with your settings, all you need to do is just click OK. You update this marker, you click OK one more time, and all you need to do is just assign that marker to this specific opening. So we'll just assign the marker, and it would be this one, wood bearing beam, top of the opening. All you need to do is just click OK, and we're just going to frame this panel. So as you can see, this is my header. Only if I can select this header. This can help us see it a little bit better. So as you can see, I have 3 numbers of headers here. Then I would have my pads alongside with the header that we've determined. We didn't change any settings for our jacks, so that's why they're the same. This is how it looks like. We have a different marker if you just wish to put this bearing beam on top of the panel. So let's look at that, and let's look at how it works. We're going to go through marker manager, and this time instead of wood bearing beam top of the opening, we're going to work with wood bearing beam top of the panel. Again, I would access the properties just to see a very familiar dialog box that we've seen before. You have your header settings here. If you wish to decrease the number of headers, here basically you can do it. You can again change the alignment, and as you can see in this preview, how the alignment work. Space would be equally spaced, 3 or whatever number that you choose for your headers would be equally spaced in sort of this alignment. You have your back alignment, you have your front alignment, and you have your center. Okay. Let's just go ahead with a different alignment this time. We're going to go with the space, and we're going to increase the headers to 3. Again, header soles and nailers and soles, we're just going to keep it as 1. I would have my both left and right side of the vertical settings, as you can see here. My tolerance settings, my cripple spacing. As you can see, again, I can choose different families for my different members, such as horizontals, headers, souls, jacks, kings, and cripples. And that's pretty much it for this specific marker. Everything that we've seen here basically makes sense. And okay, I'm just gonna click on OK, update this marker, and we will just repeat the steps one more time. Top of the panel, we assign that marker to this opening, and I'm just going to go ahead and create this. Would set as active, close, and create. I think I've went with the different member because this doesn't seem, it's actually top of the panel if I'm not mistaken. Yes, as you can see, I have the wrong family selected here for the opening strap. Let's just go ahead and change it to 2x4s and update this marker. Okay, and let's say once you have a marker applied to your panel, and then you wish to go ahead and change some of the settings, all you need to do is just regen. You do not need to apply the same marker for this opening again. And as you can see, now I have right families for my straps. As you can see, my header is sitting on top of the panel instead of top of the openings. I will just quickly delete this panel. Now let's try to apply this to this. Apply this marker to this window, and we're just gonna go with the top of the panel. Click OK, and we can exit, and we're just gonna create this panel real quick. So as you can see, for my soles again, and for my headers, the straps are placed with the correct family. And basically this is how it looks like when it's just a window. Okay. So that is all for our single opening wood markers. We can now move on to our multiple opening wood markers, which you can find under Marker Manager. Once you open the Marker Manager, you just need to switch to the multiple opening, here in which you can see a couple of different markers. As you can see, the first basically reads it's but horizontally aligned top of the panel, and also as you can see in the preview on how the marker is supposed to work. Alongside, if you have any vertically aligned openings, you have also a couple of different options, such as this marker, which we call vertically aligned simple. It's just basically a marker that places the header on top of the opening. And as you can see, the other one is vertically aligned top cripples. But here in the panel, I think we have the horizontal aligned a couple of openings. So we're just going to use this marker, okay? So I'm just going to again access the properties via double clicking on the marker itself. And in this dialog box, as you can see, the first thing first is the bearing header and the alignment of the bearing header, something that we've seen before. Again, you have your back, front, center, and spaced option. I'm just going to go ahead with the center for this one. And again, here basically where you can change the family, so we're going to call it 2x6. You can also determine the number of headers. So let's just go ahead and make it 3. For the openings, opening headers, again, you would need to change the family if it's set to any other family. And again, I'm happy with the number. You have your sole families. you have your vertical families for kings and for the additional truss families. Okay, so alongside with each member and their following families, you also have a count. So this is basically where you can change them. Again, you have your cripple positioning settings or cripple spacing settings, and how you want to space the cripples, something that we've seen before. And don't forget to change the family if by default it's set to something else. Here you also have a turn on and off feature to turn on extra bottom cripples, as you can see in the preview and how it works. So let's just go ahead and enable that. For your strap settings, again, it would be another dialog box. All you need to do is just click on the strap settings option here, and you can just enable the straps. All the settings that we've seen before. You can change the families, where you wish to place these straps itself. For your both start and end straps, the placement of which side of the panel does the strap take place, connector settings, and vertical offsets. I'm just going to disable straps for this demo. Again, you have your tolerance settings alongside with the roof opening settings. And again, you can use the same members as these, or you can determine individual families for individual members. Okay, and once you're happy again with your settings, just click on OK, update those markers, click OK one more time, and this time we just need to assign those two openings with the marker. Just going to select both the openings, go to markers, apply opening type. And as you can see, I've selected two openings, so the dialog box itself is saying that you have selected two openings. And we just need to find the right marker. Here would be the horizontal align the top of the panel. Click OK, and all we need to do now is just frame this panel. And OK, and this is what it should look like. So first thing first, we have our additional cripples as we've turned on the feature. As you can see here, my header, my bearing beam alongside with my header here, the cripples are correct. And if we just go ahead and quickly take a look what's happening inside this bearing beam. So as you can see, I've determined 3 different sets of headers. So as you can see, those are correct. And again, as you can see, the alignment, we went with the center, but you also have an option to stick them at the back, front, or you can equally space them. So that's how you detail a couple of wood markers. Let me know if you guys have any questions, but that is it for today. Thank you guys for your time. And let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.